everybody. Today we're talking about one of my absolute favorite vegetables, butternut squash. We'll be covering two of my favorite preservation methods, freezing and freeze drying. Both of these methods preserve the sweet, nutty flavor of butternut squash, and I'll walk you through how to do both of them.
First things first, let's talk about getting your butternut squash ready for preservation. If you're harvesting from your own garden, you want to wait until the rind is hard and has a dull matte finish, not glossy. That tells you it's fully mature. When you cut it from the vine, leave about 1 to 2 inches of stem attached. That little stem is actually really important because it helps prevent decay during storage. Now here's something that might surprise you. Don't wash your squash with water if you're planning to store it. Just gently wipe it down with a dry cloth to remove any dirt or debris. Moisture is the enemy here because it encourages rot. If you're planning to store rather than immediately process it, the butternut squash needs to be cured first. It's actually really simple. Leave your squash in a warm, well-ventilated area for 5 to 7 days. We're talking about 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit with about 80 to 85% humidity also. Why do we cure squash? It allows the skin to harden up and any little nicks or scratches to heal over. This is absolutely vital if you want your squash to last. Where should you cure squash? A sunny window, a warm attic, a sunroom, or even a garage or shed with a fan running. Any of these work great. Where do you store squash? Once the squash is cured, you're ready to store it in a cool, dry, dark location with good ventilation. It can last up to 3 months there. Where shouldn't you store squash? Don't store your whole butternut squash in the refrigerator because this can affect its texture. The baking method is my preferred method because it's hands-off and brings out incredible flavor. Start by preheating the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it's time to cut your butternut squash in half lengthwise. As you can see, it's a little harder than it looks. I've heard that you can actually puncture your squash and then put it in the microwave for a few minutes before trying to take it out and cut it. It's supposed to cut a lot easier then. I think I'll try that next time. Take care with that big knife. Eventually you will win, I promise. It just takes a little time. Eventually you'll get that squash open and then it's time to take out the seeds. It will take a bit of scrubbing with a spoon to get all those seeds out. Make sure you save the seeds and muck in a container to take out to the compost pile. That's another one of my favorite subjects. Your garden and the pollinators and microbia will be so thankful for your gift. Now place your squash cut side down on a baking sheet to prepare to put into the oven. To add water or not to add water? Some people say not to add any water to the squash so it stays pure, but my family has always liked softer, creamier squash, so I do add water to the pan. The squash sucks up some of the liquid after it's taken out of the oven. Bake for about 60 to 75 minutes until the flesh is completely tender when you poke it with a fork. Let it cool until you can handle it comfortably, then scoop out into a large bowl. If the squash doesn't all have the same texture, I use my mixer in it for a short time to make it creamy. If you prefer steaming, that works too. Get your big pot on the stove and get your steamer basket in it all ready for that squash. Cut your squash into large chunks. Peel off the skin, another task that needs a big knife and patience. Steam until fork tender, usually about 20 to 25 minutes. Drain and then let it cool. Now let's talk about freezing. This is probably the easiest method and it gives you fantastic results. The key here is to let it cool completely before packaging. We don't want to put hot squash into the freezer. Here's where you get to be smart about portions. For larger amounts, use freezer containers or heavy-duty freezer bags. Leave about ½ inch of headspace at the top. The squash will expand slightly as it freezes. Squeeze out as much air as possible from the bags before sealing. Label everything with the date and contents. You won't remember what's in there. I promise. If you like small portions to add as a thickening agent, freeze your puree in ice cube trays or muffin tins. Once they're solid, pop them out and transfer them to a freezer bag. Each cube is usually about 2 tablespoons, which makes recipe measurements easy. How long does squash last in the freezer? Frozen butternut squash will maintain its best quality for about 10 to 12 months in the freezer. After that, it's still safe to eat, but the quality starts to decline. Okay, now let's talk about freeze drying. I'll be honest, this requires specialized equipment, so it's a bigger investment. But if you're serious about food preservation like I am, freeze drying gives you the longest shelf life and the best flavor and texture retention too. I have a Rehydrate freeze dryer which runs almost constantly during garden harvest and often during the year. As a single person, I know that my food will last long and be shelf stable also. Find my affiliate link in the description to check it out yourself. You might ask, what is freeze drying? Freeze drying removes the moisture through a process called sublimation. Basically, ice turns directly into vapor without becoming liquid first. Interesting, right? The result is incredibly lightweight, shelf-stable food that rehydrates beautifully. You can actually freeze dry raw or blanched squash. Slice your squash into uniform pieces. Consistency is key here. Blanch the cubes by boiling for 2 to 3 minutes and then plunging into ice cold water to stop the cooking process. Spread them in a single layer on your freeze dryer trays. Pre-freeze them in your regular freezer until solid, then transfer to your freeze dryer and process according to your machine's instructions. They're done when they're completely dry and crunchy, no soft spots. You might ask, why should I blanch squash before freezing? Because blanching deactivates the enzymes that cause spoilage. It also preserves color and flavor. Freeze drying puree is my go-to method for butternut or other winter squash. Spread your cooked pureed squash evenly on freeze dryer trays. Aim for about half an inch thick, not too thick or it'll take forever to dry. Pre-freeze until solid. This is in your regular freezer. Now, process in your freeze dryer until completely dry, adding up to 10 hours of extra freeze dry time to ensure it is dried. You can't over dry food, but you can under dry it. The result breaks apart easily and can even be ground into a powder, which is useful to thicken soups, mix into baking recipes, or anywhere else you want concentrated squash flavor. This is vital in learning freeze drying. You need to store freeze dried food immediately in airtight containers. I'm talking Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers or vacuum sealed jars for shorter storage. Your properly freeze dried butternut squash can last up to 25 years in Mylar bags. The squash is frozen and ready for the freeze dryer. I had only 4 trays, so the 5th one is frozen beets. Light is here. The squash are done. They feel done. So do the beets. They're like little hockey pucks. Perfectly dried. Almost nothing is this easy to get off the pan. The butternut squash, I could just lift the whole tray's worth up and hold it in my hand just like that, and then break it up into whatever size pieces I wanted. I got 20 cups of squash out of 4 trays in the freeze dryer. That's a lot of squash soup and a whole lot of other things too. Store in a cool, dark, dry place. Heat, light, and moisture are your absolute enemies. Before moving on to how to use your squash, hit that like button and subscribe for more food preservation tutorials. And let me know below in 3 words or less, what's your favorite way to use butternut squash yourself? So what do you do with all this preserved squash? Freeze dried, rehydrate with warm water or broth, add powder directly to recipes, snack on the crunchy slices, they're surprisingly good, grind into flour for unique baking projects. Let's make quick butternut squash soup. I have the recipe in the description for you. The reason I freeze dry food is because I can work really hard during garden harvest season and then move on to quick and simple winter meals. Winter is a great time for me to rest. Why freeze dry squash? See how quick that was? No peeling, no roasting, no fuss. This is why I love having freeze dried squash on hand. It's literally soup in 20 minutes from start to finish.
Whether you choose the simplicity of freezing or invest in the freeze dryer technology, either way, you're going to have a wonderful vegetable that makes it so easy for winter cooking. So until next time, let's grow butternut squash and then preserve it.